Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video on order of operations. So why do we need order of operations? Well, let's say I have, for example, a few coins. So I have a couple of $2 coins, and let's say I have also a $1 coin. Now, you know clearly this means that I have $5. It doesn't matter whether you add the $2 coins first, or you add the $1 and the $2 coin first, or whatever. Doesn't matter the order you add it up, I have $5. So I can write it like this. I have one $1 coin plus 2 lots of $2 coins. Now, if I did the addition first, I'd get 1 plus 2, which is 3, times 2 is 6. I mean, that's crazy. I clearly don't have $6. Problem with doing that is that the 2's are sort of attached to each other because it's 2 lots of $2. And that's what happens with multiplication. It sort of sticks things together. And that's why it's important that we do it first. If I do the multiplication first, I get 1 plus 4, which is $5. And that is the correct answer. I have $5. So in our hierarchy of operations, we need to put multiplication above addition. Division and multiplication, however, are pretty much the same thing. When you multiply by 2, that's the same as dividing by a half. Dividing by 4 is the same as multiplying by a quarter. So it's important that division and multiplication are put on the same level. And similarly for addition and subtraction. Adding 4 is the same as subtracting -4. They are essentially the same thing, so they need to be on the same level. Now, what if I had something like this? Let's say I had 3 times 2 to the power of 4. So just note that this thing here is called a power or an index. And of course, 2 to the power of 4 means times 2 by itself 4 times. It just makes sense that we do this first because the 4 is attached to the 2 and not the 3. So that's why we're going to put indices raising to a power above division and multiplication. Now, sometimes we need to change the order of operations. Let's say I was going to a store, sells clothes, and they had 10% off everything in their store. So if I wanted to buy 5 t-shirts, I could take 10% off each of those t-shirts and then add up the discount, or I could just add up the total price and take 10% off the total, and that would be easier. So even if you don't quite understand that example, the point is still easy for you to understand. Sometimes it's easier. We want to do addition before multiplication, and that's what we use brackets for. For our purposes, the only point of brackets is to change the order of operations. So that's how we get our BIDMAS, our hierarchy. You do things in these order. Do brackets first, then indices, which is raising to a power. For division and multiplication, they're the same. So you do whichever occurs first from left to right. And with addition and subtraction, again, you do whichever comes first from left to right. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look at some examples. Okay, so let's go ahead and do these questions. So the first one's relatively straightforward. So we have 2 things we need to do, add and multiply. Note, this isn't telling us really to subtract, it's just telling us that it is a -7. So there's 2 operations. So do this methodically, figure out which operations you do first according to BIDMAS. So obviously multiplication comes before division. So we'll do that first. So 5 times 2 is 10. We haven't done anything with the -7 or the plus, so we leave them exactly as they were. And then we have -7 plus 10, which is +3. So if you're stuck with director numbers, remember you can use a number line to add and subtract. To do that, you would start at -7 and you'd go 10 steps to your right, and you should end up at 3. Okay, that's just if you're stuck with this. Hopefully you can do director numbers in your head. All right, let's do the next one. So now there's a bracket. Of course, bracket comes before anything else. So we need to do what's in the brackets first. Even though multiplication and division are above addition, because the addition's in the brackets, we'll do it first. -8 plus 12 is +4, and we haven't done anything with the 4 or the 2. Okay? So now remember, multiplication and division are actually the same level as addition and subtraction. So we don't do this first because division is above multiplication. We do this first. We do the multiplication first because it occurs first from left to right. So 4 times 4 is 16. and now we divide by 2 and we get a final answer of 8. Okay, last one. So now we've got brackets again, but there are a few operations in the brackets. Okay, so we actually have 1, 2, 3 operations. So they're all inside the brackets. So we go by BIDMAS and we see that I, index or raised to the power, comes first. So I will do that first. So still in the brackets, we've got 5 times 4 squared, which is 16. And we haven't done anything with the negative 10. So now we need to do the multiplication next. So we go minus 15, 5 times 16 is 80, that's all still in brackets, and then we divide by minus 10. Now, of course, we do the addition, so minus 15 plus 80 gives us 65. Still haven't done anything with the minus 10. And now we finally do the division. 65 divided minus 10 is minus 6.5. So that remember the rules for multiplication and division of directed numbers. If both numbers are the same sign, the answer is positive. If one number is positive and one is negative, the answer is negative. And that's why we got a negative 6.5 here. Okay, so now I'll just show you one more type of question. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. So what I've got here is a statement. Now, it's not true, because if I were to go through and do this according to BIDMAS, I wouldn't get an answer of minus 6. I would get minus 8 divided by negative 2, which is positive 4, plus 6 times 3, which is 4 plus 18, which is 22, okay? So this here doesn't equal negative 6, so it's not a true statement. But I can make it a true statement by putting brackets somewhere. Remember, putting brackets just changes the order of operation. Now, there's not too many places I can put brackets that will actually change the order of operations. For example, if I put brackets there and there, that won't change anything because I did the division first already. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to look where can I put brackets to change the order of operations. So I could put them here, and this would change it so that I do addition first, whereas in the red, I actually did the division first. So now I'm changing the order of operations. So minus 8 divided by, because we haven't touched the minus 8 yet, so I do negative 2 plus 6 first. And that gives me 4. Times 3 equals negative 6. Now, please, again, don't fall into the pitfall of thinking this is minus 8 divided by 12. We have to do the division first because it occurs first from left to right. So minus 8 divided by 4 is negative 2 times negative 3 does equal negative 6. So if I put the brackets here, then it does become a true statement. And you'll have to do a few questions like that. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.